Hello and welcome to our latest exclusive online event for the School of Engineering here at the University of California, Merced. My name is Ricky Hill and I'm an e-recruiter at UC Merced, and I'm here tonight also as your behind the scenes moderator for this online event. We do have additional events coming up, and this one will also be included as a recording for a replay within a few days. That website to be found later is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and give you a few quick tips to follow along. If you would like to adjust your audio settings, you can do that in the lower left corner of your screen. Just click on that button. A dialog box will appear and you can make those settings as you see fit. If you would like to adjust the size of your window, you can do so by clicking in the upper portion of your screen. Just click on View Options and you can make adjustments as needed. Also, we hope that you would like to participate with us in the question and answer session. You can do that by clicking on the Q&A button that should be located at the lower portion of your screen. You'll just click that button and type in your question and then get that sent over to us, and we will go ahead and include that in the live question and answer session. At this time, I will hand this off to my colleague, Carla.
Hi, everybody. My name is Carla Gonzales. I am the manager of undergraduate advising for the School of Engineering, and I'm also the transfer advisor. I understand that you guys are here to see and speak to some students, and they will be jumping on a little bit later on. I'm just going to give you guys a quick presentation regarding the majors and answer some quick questions that you might have prior to when the students jump on. At that point, when the students are going to come online, they'll introduce themselves and they'll tell you a little bit about themselves. So let's get started. Currently at UC Merced, we have 5 undergraduate majors: bioengineering, computer science and engineering, environmental engineering, material science and engineering, and mechanical engineering. You guys may have heard during the dean's presentation on Saturday during Bobcat Day that we will be having civil engineering in fall 2021. At this time, we cannot guarantee that any student will be able to change majors into civil engineering. So please make sure that whatever major you currently choose to enroll in at UC Merced or to graduate with within the School of Engineering, one of these 5 majors. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of information about each major. The first major is going to be environmental engineering. Environmental engineers design man-made systems to protect human health from pollution and restore natural systems to improve environmental quality. Some of the things you can study here at UC Merced within the environmental engineering major are water chemistry treatment, sustainable energy, air pollution, hydrology and climate, and geospatial analysis and remote sensing. Material science and engineering. Material science and engineering goes from the atom to the appliance. MSc applies fundamental principles of physics, chemistry, biology to the design and production of materials with desired combinations of mechanical, optical, electrical, magnetic, electrochemical, biocompatible, and other properties. Essentially, material science and engineering takes a look at every single product that you utilize and tries to develop how that material is going to form something and how it's going to be applied to something, or how it will be designed to assist something. Mechanical engineer. Mechanical engineers are the broadest, oldest, and second largest discipline. They research, develop, design, manufacture, and test tools, machines, and other mechanical devices. They are related to the study and use of machines and devices. Some of the industries where you can work at as a mechanical engineer are defense industry, energy, oil, architectural industry, manufacturing, transportation. Computer science and engineering. Computer engineers or computer science and engineers design, build, program, operate, and maintain computer systems to improve the quality of human lives. Computers touch all fabrics of human lives. We realize the importance of computers in our lives when computers stop working or fail. You may have also heard during Mark's presentation the announcement of a Cse Placement Exam. If you are a Cse major or attending or attempting to declare into the Cse major, we do request that you take the placement exam. The placement exam should be available starting next week. You'll receive more email information regarding it soon. So here are some of the cutting edge research that is happening at UC Merced: networks and distributed systems, robotics, machine learning, computer vision, graphics, cybersecurity, algorithms, and databases. Bioengineering. Biomedical engineers combine engineering principles with medical and biological sciences to design and create equipment, devices, computer systems, and software used in healthcare. It concludes my presentation regarding the School of Engineering and the majors that we currently have. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Brianna, who will introduce herself, and she will be our moderator for the student panel. So make sure to get your questions in.
Hi, good evening. I'm Brianna Cruz. I am from Modesto. I am a 4th year and I am a psychology major. And now I'm going to present another student assistant, Carla. She could present herself as well.
So hi everyone, I'm Carla Serrano. I'm both a mechanical engineering and computer science engineer. I'm a 5th year and I'm from Los Angeles, California. And I'm going to pass it off to Isidra.
Hi all, I'm Isidra Van Kempen. I am from the Bay Area. I am a computer science major with a cognitive science minor. I am currently in a sorority and I'm an intern for School of Engineering, and I'll pass it on to Jason.
Hello everybody, my name is Jason Miguel. I'm also from the Bay Area, specifically Newark, California. Shout out to Newark. I'm a 3rd year environmental engineering major, so looking forward for your questions. So let's get to it.
Thank you. Okay, so now if you guys would like to submit your questions, we will be more than likely to go ahead and answer them. Okay, so Isidra, our first question is, how many CSE majors are there?
So there is CSE, ME, then there's, I'm so sorry, I'm super nervous and I am blanking right now. If Carla Serrano, can you overtake it, please? I've like blanked.
Yeah. So do you mean CSE majors, like how many are in the panelists themselves, or how many different types of CSE majors do we have?
Oh, I was thinking engineering.
Because CSE panelist, it would be Isidra and I. We're both majoring in computer science engineering. And in terms of different types of CSE, so we only actually have one CSE major. There is different specifics, I guess, that you can choose throughout your major. You can decide to go the software route or more of like the architecture side. So if you do go into the software route, that's where you can take more classes pertaining to how you can create algorithms and the structure of the algorithms, whereas our architecture part teaches you about how these algorithms run in your computer and the different structure that it takes to run the algorithms.
Okay, and now that you're here, Carla, we actually have a question regarding double majoring. So can you change engineering majors in the future, and can you double major in general?
So as of now, yes, you can double major, but it is a very difficult task. I definitely want to be very honest. I guess like one of the downsides that you don't have that a lot of your fellow classmates will have is that they have the luxury of being able to focus on one major. So, you know, all the classes will intertwine with whatever they're learning, you know, they go hand in hand. Whereas when you're a double major, you kind of have to, the way that I like to think about it is like split your brain in half, because you have to literally, you know, one class will be teaching you about like computer architecture and how this computer works. And then you'll go on into a different class and you'll start learning about thermodynamics and heat transfer. So they're very different things. In a sense, they do connect, but not necessarily they don't go hand in hand, if that makes sense. But also another advice, if you do decide to double major, make sure to always be speaking with your advisor, checking in and making sure that you're fulfilling all of your requirements, because you do want to make sure that you're fulfilling everything that you need to for both majors so that you're able to graduate on time.
Okay, and then there is another question actually regarding double majoring as well. The question is, if you double major or if you have a minor, how many semesters are you allowed to complete your studies?
So as of now, you have to complete your majors in 10 semesters, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, okay. Yeah, so 10 semesters. And that's not including summers.
Thank you. And then if anyone wants to touch base a little bit on the Cse Placement Exam, maybe Jason, you can kind of explain a little bit about what the exam is.
So the Cse Placement Exam, it's something new for incoming CSE majors that'll just test out where they are and see whether or not they get to skip over the CSE 5 course if they score high enough. And CSE 5 is a intro programming class.
Right.
Okay.
I can go ahead and jump in as well. So like Jason said, CSE 5 is an intro class. It exposes students to just the basics of computer literacy. The placement exam is just to see where students fall within that skill, and they'll either place into CSE 5 or CSE 22, which is the first level of computer science and engineering.
For Carla, if you take a beginner CSE class, can you still graduate in 4 years?
Yeah, so it's very possible if you make sure that, like I said, you're fulfilling all of your requirements. And I'm sure that a lot, or maybe some of you are aware of this, but some courses do require you to have prior courses before you can take it. So they're known as prerequisites. So if you ensure that you are taking the correct classes to get those prerequisites and then be able to take the courses that you need, you should be able to graduate in 4 years.
Okay, thank you. And since Isidra, I know you have an internship. There's a question regarding internships actually. How difficult is it to get an engineering internship at UC Merced? Is it difficult since UC Merced is far from the big cities?
No, as long as you are keeping in contact with advisors, and we have career specialists here at UC Merced, many helpful hands to guide you in like specifically where you want to intern, what you want to do, in what cities you want to do it. And we have lots of networking programs where businesses come and they talk to you, and you can have your resume, cover letter on hand, and they can do a full interview with you right there or help you with your elevator pitch and stuff like that.
Thank you. So there's a lot of CSE questions coming in. So Carla, this question, it says, I'm a computer science transfer student. If a course from my community college is articulated, will I potentially have to retake that course? Based on my assist, I've completed CSE 30 using articulated coursework. Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Carla Gonzales can help us with that one.
So it's the new CSE way that it works is that it's CSE 22, 24, and then 30. The way that we're going to do it is that you will automatically be waived from CSE 22. You will be requested to take a placement exam in the fall semester, and this is for anybody that has completed what's equivalent to CSE 30 at a community college. In the fall semester, you'll get an email from me saying, okay, you have not completed an equivalent course to CSE 24. We need you to take an exam, and what it is, it's going to be a competency exam just to test your skills of that class. And if you pass it, then you don't have to take it. It'll also be waived. If you don't pass it, and you only get one try as well, the same thing as the placement exam, you get one try. If you don't pass it, then you will have to take CSE 24. You'll still earn credit for CSE 30, but you will have to take 24.
Thank you, Carla. Okay, so for Jason, do you get assistance with finding a job that corresponds with your engineering major in different cities not near Merced?
So in terms of assistance, I did have an internship last summer, and it was for the city of Fremont, their public works department. Uh, I didn't really use the resources, which I'm not encouraging you to do. Um, Always use the resources. Elizabeth Atalano, she's the School of Engineering Career Specialist. She'll help you along the way to find out, the best fit for you. She's good at her job. But in terms of what I did, I just applied to the job posting, check LinkedIn, make your LinkedIn profile now if you don't have one, and start making those connections. And also you have to spruce up your social media. I know we're young college, you're soon to be college students. You have to kind of clean it up a little bit because recruiters, they do look at the content you post on your social media. So make sure you kind of clean that up a little bit. But honestly, I just applied to the job board and then I got email back and then I interviewed, and it's always in the interview where you have to show off yourself, what you've done, how will that benefit you in the job. So that was my experience with that internship.
Thank you, Jason. So we have a question regarding just the social life in general at UC Merced. Isidra, since you are part of an organization, do you kind of want to talk about a little bit about that?
Specifically, what was the question? If I
how the social life is at UC Merced, just our campus community in general.
So we actually have lots of clubs and organizations here at Merced. I'm currently in Delta Gamma sorority and am a co-founder actually of a club here called Zone Fit. And there are lots of sorority life and club life, and we network on campus with other fraternities and sororities, whether it's through professionalism or through recreational. And there is a list. You can go to UC Merced and look at the different sororities and professional fraternities that we have here and what they take to get in and all of that. But it's actually a very fun and exciting way to get active with UC Merced students. I've met many friends and lifelong sisters and brothers that I will have forever that you can study with and have fun with, because I know it's a little bit of a setback for many people coming from the Bay or SoCal to the Central Valley. They want to know whether there's a lot to do, but it's all about whether you put yourself out there and to try and make those connections with what we have here on campus, because there's a lot of networking things that you can do.
Thank you. And then for Carla, there's a question regarding CSE as well. It's asking, what coding language do you recommend to learn for a CSE freshman to give you a head start?
So I believe the first language that you learn incoming is Java. It's a very simple language, and I think it really helps understand the basics of programming. Then I'd also recommend to go on and learn Python. That's another language that we learned very early on. So those are two that I think you should definitely look into.
Okay, and then since you are on the screen, and I know that you do research, what kind of research projects does UC Merced offer for mechanical engineering?
So there's actually several different labs that we have. The lab that I currently work with, it's the robotics lab, and we do a lot of mechatronics work. So that's just basically like the mixture of mechanical engineering and then computer science engineering. But we do also have tribology labs. We have all sorts of different mechanical engineering programs. And if you do go onto our website, you can see all the different professors that we have and the labs that they're working with and the different kind of research that our school has to offer.
Thank you. And then for Jason, what kind of laptop would you recommend we use, Mac or Windows?
Well, I have a bias. I'm a PC person, so, but I think any laptop, just make sure it has a video cam for those purposes, especially now since we do have to zoom in and, most electronic stores are sold out of all the web cameras if laptops aren't equipped for it. So just make sure your laptop has a webcam. And I think If you visit the Office of Informational Technology, they have a link of recommended laptops. But personally, I have a Dell Inspiron, and it's lasted me 3 years. So I'm liking it.
Thank you. And for Yasidra, as a CSE major, what classes do the Chem Placement Exam allow me to take? I believe maybe Carla would be able to answer. Carla,
So actually as a CSE major, we don't actually take chem classes. So if you're going for surely as a CSE major and you're not an undeclared, then you wouldn't have to, per se, take the chem placement exam.
I completely agree with Isidra on that. If you are 100% set that you will be graduating with CSE and you will not be adding any double majors or anything like that, any minors, that you will only study computer science and engineering, then you do not need to take the chemistry placement exam. But if there is a potential of you adding something, or you potentially may be thinking, I haven't taken a CSE class, I'm not sure if this is really what I want, please do just take the placement exam. It does not take a long time.
Okay. Let's see, what other question do we have here? So here is a question. I have declared for computer science. I've done a college course, Intro to Programming, learning Python 3, and currently taking AP Statistics. Does any of these courses exempt me from the placement exam?
It depends on what that class that you took articulates into. So the placement exam is a maximum of 2 hours. It's 60 questions. Just go ahead and take it. Be sure that you place into a higher level. We will always take whatever your highest level of CSE is. If it were AP exam scores, community college credit, whatever the highest is, we will accept that. And we will take that and place you into whatever highest level we can.
Thank you. Another question is, were any of you community college transfers? If so, would you mind sharing your experience on your transition? So I know none of us were community college transfers, but Jason, do you kind of want to talk about your college experience so far?
Sure. So I went straight in from high school, and initially it was quite a bit of a change coming from a mid-sized high school to a university. The first class I took was Chemistry 2, which was general chemistry, and that's in our largest lecture hall. It fits up to 500 students, if I'm not mistaken. So just walking into that room and seeing 400 plus students in the same room kind of made me a little bit nervous. But you know, you're there to learn and not really, you know, to pay attention to everyone else. Just, you know, pay attention to what the professor says, go to office hours, and then you're going to do well in the course. But I did take a couple courses at a community college in the summer of 2018, and there is a difference. First of all, summer courses are way longer than normal courses. They're about 3 hours in lectures at that community college. But the courses I took, it was a math class and a history course, and the style of teaching is about the same. The professors care for you to succeed, and that's what I noticed between the community college and the university professors I've had. But you know, just in general, the switch from high school straight into UC Merced, it took about a semester for me to get used to, and you know, once in my second semester, I kind of got used to it. So it totally depends on whether you're an outgoing person. If you're an outgoing person, you'll fit in, you know, right away. But if you're somewhat reserved like I am, you know, it'll take you know, a semester or even 2.
Thank you, Jason.
If I may add a little bit, Bree. I was just going to add on that I actually have a couple of sisters in my sorority who are transfers and have come from community service. community service, I apologize, community college. And they've really told me that getting out there and being more into the social life and interacting with extracurricular activities has really helped them, because obviously you kind of have a setback from not being in the dorms and not being, getting into college life with everyone else at the same time. You guys grow together. So it's much easier, I would say. I would really recommend for you to participate in extracurricular activities to become more familiar with your peers around you.
Thank you, Cedra. And then for Jason, what tips can you give any major looking for an internship?
So first and foremost, if you have social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you think that you may have posted something inappropriate, go ahead and delete that. Spruce up your social media, and also talk to people. Go to the Career Center. Our specialist, Elizabeth Ottolano, she'll help you out with your resume and cover letters. And also, if you wanted to, you can also visit the engineering office, and there might be a couple engineering majors who are in their 3rd or 4th years that have had internship experience. So if you just go out and explore campus, visit our office, and science and engineering too, when you come to campus, then that's the engineering building. And if you want to go ahead and ask around on the 3rd floor, we might be able to give you contact information with some engineering students who are okay with that, and they'll be able to walk you through their experience. I'm more than happy to do that if you guys come in.
Thank you. And then for Carla, what CSE classes would you recommend for a freshman to take?
So I definitely want to make sure that you take all the math classes in the CSE classes that they recommend. I believe if you didn't pass the placement exam, you might start off with Math 5. Mm-hmm. Yes. So Math 5, CSE 2021. Oh, 22 now, right? Yes. Sorry, I'm so old that now things have changed so much. But yes, CSE 22 and your Spark class. Yes, so a Spark class, and then just maybe a fun elective class that you'd like to take. What a lot of the advisors always recommend is for us to take about 2 to 3 difficult classes, and then make sure that we have like that easy class that doesn't have a lot of workload, to make sure that we're not overwhelming ourselves.
And if I may add, your Bobcat advisor for the freshman students, you will be hearing from your Bobcat advisor, and they will help you plan that. If you're not in the major you want to be in, so let's say, for example, you're currently a declared cognitive science major and you want to do computer science and engineering, just let your Bobcat advisor know, and they will help you out. Transfer students, I am your main contact person. I'll start emailing you guys, and don't worry about it. We will talk about all these things along the way. I do have another webinar coming in for the admitted transfer students to be able to kind of come online, get a presentation for me, and hopefully I can get a couple of transfer students to come on and give you guys their experience as well.
Thank you, Carla. And then for Yasidra, what's the best advice for a student going in undecided?
So I actually did come as an undeclared engineer. So my advice would be to, prior to coming to really look into the specifics of all the engineering departments we have, and to really kind of guide yourself towards, what you're most interested in, and then to take an intro class to that engineering department and see if you like it, and then go on from there.
Thank you. And then for Jason, I am an incoming freshman, but I want to get ahead and take CSE and math courses in the summer session. Is that possible?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Carla. I think that incoming first years can sign up for the summer session.
They actually can. So you can sign up for classes. If you've taken the placement exam and you know what class you're going to place into, you are more than welcome to register for classes. Your admissions person can help you with that. The registrar's office can help you as well. Your Bobcat advisor can help you along the way. If you're CSE and you want to take CSE 5 because you know you're going to place into that CSE 5, then you're more than welcome to register for classes during the summer. My recommendation as a first year student, don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to take all of your intro level classes. Know that you have 4 to 5 years here at UC Merced. And honestly, if you try to put everything so close to each other, you will overwhelm yourself. And we always try to set you guys up for success. So just keep that in mind.
And if I can add something else, Bree, before you go, the best way to kind of graduate on time, I would say, is to plan ahead, look at your course catalog, look at the flow chart of your major, and after your placement exam, see where you're at, and kind of look around and play around with those courses. I know in my case, I looked at the flow chart of environmental engineering, and I placed into Math 21, Chem 2, Physics 8, and I took Writing 1. And just looking at that flow chart and just seeing, oh, I have to take these courses to get on track. And, oh, I can spend a summer session and take these 2 courses, really helped me out. And, you know, I'm on track to graduate in spring of 2021, which is on the 4-year track.
And also another thing that I would like to add, which is something that I kind of mentioned in the beginning, is to also be aware that some courses do require prerequisites. So to make sure that you're taking those prerequisites so that in the future, when you are going to take the courses that you need, you meet all the requirements and it won't hinder you from being able to register for the course.
Thank you, Carla. And actually a question for you is, what are some hands-on things that electrical majors get to do?
Electrical majors, electrical engineers. I don't believe we have that major just yet, but we do get to do a lot of cool projects in Engineering 65, which is a circuit design class. And you get to learn like the basics of soldering and how exactly that works. There's also a mechatronics course that we have that they teach you about mechatronics and how to work with different encoders. So you do get to see that, the electrical side of it. And throughout your mechanical engineering labs, if you are a mechanical engineering student, you get to work with different types of like circuits and learn the electronic side of it.
Thank you, Carla. For Ysidra, do transfer students live on a specific part of the campus? Do engineers within the same major get to request to live together?
How about I do that one?
Yeah.
So I actually don't know. I don't think any of us in the School of Engineering know. I know that students are able to apply for on-campus housing. We do not have a living learning community specific to engineering population. So there are a lot of living learning communities that you can request to be part of. And that's okay. You can totally do that through housing. But to say that specifically transfer students are placed in one section, I'm not sure. To say that engineers are specifically placed into something, I mean, you guys, did anybody live on campus? Were you guys placed specifically with engineering students?
No.
Sorry.
Do you want to go?
Go for it.
Okay. No, but you actually can meet people. I believe that I didn't do it personally, but I believe there's a way to see and communicate with other incoming either freshmen or transfer students who are also moving into housing. And you can, I think there's a way to figure out what their majors are, or if you already have friends that you know are coming that are within the engineering field, you can, what's the word?
Request.
Yeah, you can request to room with them, and depending on what room you want as well, you can also request that. Not that you will get it, but you can request it.
Yeah, so when I lived in the dorms, I was in Mariposa, which is right next to the gym and the former dining commons. I was the only engineering major in my dorm, or my suite, there were 6 of us. There's 3 in one room. We share a bathroom, and then the other 3, I was the only engineering major. But the thing about that was they kind of link you up with people who they think have personalities that are similar. The other 5 people in our suite, we all got along. You know, we didn't hate each other. We all got along together the first day of moving in. So that's one thing that will happen after you. You'll have to do a questionnaire on the housing portal of your preferences. You know, whether you have to list which dorm you want. So go ahead and do your research and see, do you want to live in Mariposa and Tuolumne that are closest to the library and the campus? That's why I chose it. Or do you want to live in Granite Pass or Glacier Point, the newer dorms? And there's a couple classrooms right below them. So kind of do your research on which dorms you want to live in and rank them. They have you rank them, and then there's a little questionnaire too, like, do you prefer smoking or whatnot, and all the sorts.
Okay, so we have another question regarding the placement exam that I think maybe Carla G can answer. And the question is, are transfers exempt from the Cse Placement Exam specifically?
Specifically, transfers are exempt, like I mentioned before, from it. But just because it is our first time offering the placement exam, we are requesting that all students who are planning on being CSE or graduating with CSE take it. So we do request that you take it, but you are not required to.
Okay, and then for Jason, another question regarding laptops. So would a laptop be recommended specifically, or would the newer iPads be okay?
So tablets are pretty good for taking notes now. I personally don't have one, but there's a lot of people I know in my courses that have a tablet, and it's useful for taking notes. But when it comes to taking an exam on your laptop, or if it's an open note exam in class, you can't use your tablet for some professors. So that's one thing to consider. But I would say get a laptop with a camera, and that's pretty much all you need. And I know for CSE majors and for environmental engineering majors, if you download the really extenuating applications like ArcGIS and AutoCAD, then you'll need a specific laptop that meets certain specifications. So if you go into those 2 majors, I know that one of the electives for environmental engineering is spatial analysis, where we use ArcGIS. But there is a computer lab you can utilize, and it has all the applications. So if you can't personally get a laptop, there's always the computer lab, and it's open, I would say, 18 hours of the day, really, and you can utilize that.
Just to add to that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to address what.
Please.
Oh, I was just going to say that also, if you go onto our engineering website, there is an SOE laptop policy, because specifically for computer science engineers, there is some, I guess, like some programs that you can't run on iPads. So you will be needing to have an operating system that can run all these programs. So I would say just go ahead and look into the SOE laptop policy so you can see what specifications they need to have.
Thank you, Carla. And actually, I have a question for you. So do AP classes taken in high school really matter at UC Merced?
I would say yes, because for some classes you are able to place test out of them. So then that kind of helps you get ahead of the game and not have to take those courses. So like courses that Carla mentioned, like Math 5 and Writing 1, and I believe Chemistry as well, that you can test out of, and you don't need to take like those, I guess, simplified version of the classes if you test out of it.
Yeah, and Carla's referring to the AP exam. So taking just the class is okay and it's great, but that's personal knowledge. You have to take the AP exam. Most of the time, if you score 4 or 5, it will exempt you from a class. For CSE, we take the Comp Sci A exam. and that will help with your placement as well. So.
Thank you.
And if I could add something real quick. So I took the AP Mathematics AB test and I got a 3 on that. And I placed out of Math 5 and got into Math 21. And right when I took it, you know, there's always that buffer. It was from July to August. I forgot all the math. And once I got into Math 21, we went over the basics. And it was something we learned in AP math or AP calculus, but I totally forgot about it. So it's kind of up to you whether you're confident that you know everything that you learned. Because in my case, in AP calculus AB, I kind of forgot everything. It was 2 years since I took the course, and just having that refresher of Math 21 really helped out in taking the next level up in Math 22 and Math 24.
Okay, and so Jason, we got a question regarding an internship. So is there any paying internship that you know of at UC Merced?
So at UC Merced specifically, there's something called the SSI, the Student Success Internships, that different departments, professors, they kind of sponsor. So you do like a research kind of internship for them. And at the end of the semester, you have to present to that department, whether you have an internship with the recreation and athletics department, you have to present to them on what you did during that internship. So that's what those are geared for. And also certain research labs have internships too. So you're doing a lot of research. It just depends on which one it is. But in terms of, you know, internships like for Google, something similar to that, there's not really anything similar to that on campus specifically. It's mainly a research-orientated internship on campus.
And also to add, I believe we have a program known as Merced, where they do offer fellowships that are research-based, and sometimes those fellowships allow you to get internships during the summer or kind of guide you to the process of where are the different areas that you can also get internships.
Thank you, Carla. And I have a question for you, actually. How hard is it to start a project in the first year of college?
Projects as in research project?
They just said project, so I'm not sure, but you can specify maybe research project.
So research projects, we do have the Mesa Lab, which is kind of like a place where a lot of engineers, they can get together and work on a project and kind of draft up a grant is what they call, so that they can get money and sponsorship to be able to create their own ideas. And as long as it's like a viable, something that they can actually build and the person that runs the Mesa Lab sees that there's potential, they'll allow you to do that. We also have several clubs on campus that have different projects that you can work on. I know one of the events that we have in the semester is Project Palooza, where a lot of these clubs present the different projects that they're currently working on. So we have like ASE, the Automotive Society of Engineers, if I'm not mistaken, where they have like this go-kart that they work on. We also have AIAA, where they work on like different rocket ships and planes that they fly. So there's different types of projects that you can work on with organizations. Starting your own, like I definitely think that maybe working with another club and kind of asking them about, or telling them about your ideas, they can help you get the funding for it. And that would be the best avenue to start.
Can I ask, has anybody participated in engineering service learning?
Oh, yes. Also engineering service learning. And that's where a lot of the projects I think are the most meaningful as well, because you get to see your results like firsthand and see what exactly you're doing, and you get to, it teaches you, I also really enjoyed the course because it teaches you, it's kind of like a preview of what you're going to be doing for your capstone project, which is a project that you do your senior year.
Thank you, Carla. And then for Yasidra, I have a question for you. Around how much free time do you have as a CSE major?
I think it all depends on your studying habits. If you're someone who likes to get everything done in a crunched amount of time, like in a certain amount of hours, then you can have more time. Or if you're someone who likes to space it out, do some work in the middle of the day or in the morning and then in the afternoon, then you will have time. But generally every day you have something to do. It's all up to you though and how you prioritize your tasks.
Thank you, Cedra. And for Carla, can you talk about a little bit more of mechanical engineering? Are there any programs specifically for that major? Any internships that offer maybe a more hands-on experience?
Yes. So, like I mentioned, we do have a Merced program, which is, I think, directly connected with NASA. And they do have like fellowships that you get to work on and do internships with them directly. And they kind of teach you about, you get to go on like the emphasis and understand like what exactly like mechanical engineering is and like the different types of things that you can focus on. So like I said, we have like tribology. Yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot. And like I said, again, the career services is a great resource for you to go to and they can help you also find different internships that pertain to mechanical engineering.
Okay, thank you, Carla. And then for Jason, are engineering books expensive?
Well, do you want to buy them or rent them? I say rent them. If you rent them, you can use you can rent them through Amazon or Cic. I know the bookstore is a good place to go, but when you return it, you don't get as much back. That's if you buy it from the bookstore, and then if you return it at the end of the semester, you get a little portion back. But I use Cic personally, and depending on the book that the professor assigns, if it's a brand new book, then renting it will probably be at least 60, 70 or more. But if it's an old book, which most of them are, they're between $15 to $50. So it just kind of depends on where you go. So always research the books that you have to use, and always wait until whether or not the professor requires them, because I know some courses, they have syllabi that say these are the required textbooks, but in the end you don't really use them. So it's just wait until the first week when you get there, and if you're the brave soul, ask the professor, or if someone else asks it, the professor will say, oh, you're not going to need it, or I'll provide it to you. So it's just wait for the first week to get your textbooks, and then I would say use Cic, because I've seen those are the cheaper ones to rent.
Thank you, Jason. And then I have another question for Carla. It is, I've taken computer science coursework at a four-year university. Would I be exempt from taking the equivalent computer science coursework at Merced?
It depends. It depends what it articulates into. So we don't have many four-year to four-year articulation right now, because we are such a fairly young campus. So you will need to contact your academic advisor, be it through Bobcat Advising Center or myself, and let us know. And you will most likely have to submit several course approvals that are available on the Engineering Advising website. And they will, that will be the way that you'll be able to determine what you do or don't have CSE-wise. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Ricky.
Hi everyone, my name's Ricky Hill again. I'm the eRecruiter. This is just a quick time check to let everyone know we do have just about 10 minutes left in our presentation and for this event. So if you haven't yet gotten those questions in, please send those our way and we will do our best to get to those before 7 p.m. Thank you so much. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Ricky. Okay, so for Carla, I have a question for you. Is it difficult to transfer majors?
So kind of something like what we mentioned in the beginning, it's not difficult if you're not a CSE major, because you won't have that hindrance of not taking chemistry. But if you are a CSE major and you didn't take chemistry, that might be a little bit more difficult, since you will be more behind. So kind of like what Carla mentioned, if you're kind of uncertain of what you're going to do, I'd recommend to just take chemistry just to play it safe, because all other majors do require you to take at least Chem 2. So that would be something that you would have to keep in mind.
Thank you, Carla. And then let's see. We have another question regarding the Cse Placement Exam. The question is there a way to study or prep for the Cse Placement Exam if you are a little rusty on your programming coding knowledge? So Carla, I don't know if you want to maybe talk a little bit of how to prep for that.
So it's nothing that you need to prepare for. None of the placement exams do you need to study ahead for and make sure that you know this information. The purpose of the placement exam is to test your current knowledge. There's no point in you trying to like study and study and study and get ahead and then place into something higher where you're not going to be successful in it. We suggest that you kind of just know that you know whatever knowledge it is and that you take the placement exam. Like I mentioned, it's not necessarily a programming exam, it's a computer literacy exam. There are some guidelines on the Cse Placement website, on the engineering advising website, that you are more than welcome to kind of take a look at. There are 4 main components to it listed there, and it has some subcomponents. And if you need it or would like to know what the basis of it is, of the exam is, please feel free to visit that.
Thank you, Carla. And then we have a double majoring question. So Carla, do double majors in engineering get 2 BS degrees? Limit of semesters to finish double major? Question mark.
So yes, you do actually get 2 bachelor's degrees. And again, the timeline that you should be able to finish both degrees is 10 semesters without including summer.
Thank you. And then for Jason, what is the ratio of student, professor, and engineering classes?
Well, it totally depends on which major you are. The smaller majors like material science and engineering, environmental engineering, and bioengineering, once you get into your upper division courses, it's at most, in environmental engineering, I would say at most would be 20 students to 1 faculty member, even less, depending on where people are at. If you're a computer science engineering major or a mechanical engineering major, your upper division courses will probably reach up into the 60s or 70s, depending on which one it is. But I know for environmental engineering, the ratio was 20-1, and there's one course I'm taking right now that has the most students I've taken it with, and it's around 45 students. So environmental engineering's kind of a small major, so the ratio is smaller than mechanical and computer science and engineering. But depending on the course, I know all majors have to take Engineering 57, which is statics and dynamics, either as a requirement or a technical elective, and that one has around 200 we're looking at. And then fluid mechanics is the next level up if you decide to take that route, and there's around 150. So it just depends on what course it is and whether it's a requirement to 1 major or 3 to 4 different majors.
Thank you, Jason. And then this can either be applied to Carla or Ysidra. I'm going to start with you, Ysidra, and then Carla, you can kind of answer a little bit more if you would like to add more information. But Ysidra, what are some research, internship, or job opportunities that Merced Cse majors have received in the past that you maybe know of?
That's kind of a broad question because there is all kinds of internships and research opportunities you can do. And it doesn't really, you don't really even have to do it only within your major. You can even apply to different internships and research opportunities. So that's a very broad question to ask. I'm not sure exactly how to answer it. Maybe if Carla, you would like to continue.
Yeah, so like I said, I've done research with the robotics lab in our campus. I've also gotten the privilege, well, currently I am also a School of Engineering intern. So I help with the School of Engineering website. And through the different internships, I was also able to do an internship through NASA. So we actually did a swarmathon, which is basically like helping with the rovers that they send off to Mars. So kind of just getting your hands a little bit, like I said, you know, reaching out and like being able to work on all these different aspects of your life. You'll be able to get different internships, and the kind of like Isidra mentioned, like don't be ashamed to like take smaller internships, because those are usually like the ones that'll also help you get that experience and be able to network and get the internship that you really would like.
Oh, and then just to add on a little more, I'm not sure about the other schools, but School of Engineering, if you sign up for, we have a happenings email, you constantly every day get notifications of opportunities for internships, research, clubs, sororities. So if you are connected on that loop, then you're getting the daily knowledge of all the companies that are coming and the research opportunities that you can take.
Thank you, Isidra. And then this might be a question that maybe Carla Jean can answer. Do you guys have a link where I could access this information in the presentation that this individual missed? If so, can you please write down the link? Thank you so much.
I believe Ricky mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that it will be on the admissions website, and you will be able to view it a little bit later on. So just same place you went to register for it, you will be able to find that information there. And Ricky will announce it after, towards the tail end.
Okay. Let's see. For Jason, are there any programs for entrepreneurship for students?
So entrepreneurship, any programs. So I would say look into the, if you wanted to minor in something, look into the economics department. It gives you the foundation of anything entrepreneurship, whether that's accounting, which is really useful, or you can also look at the new engineering minor we have, management, analytics, and decision making, aka the MAD minor. That's also something that can be applied for entrepreneurship. But look at the economics department. They teach you all things accounting, and then business related. So those will be useful. And there's also the UC Merced Venture Lab, where they assist you if you have a crazy startup idea. They're going to help you out, and maybe you'll make a ton of money along the way. So the UC Merced Venture Lab is a good tool to use if you have those next generation ideas to operate our country.
Thank you, Jason. And then we have a question regarding the deadline for summer sessions. So I'm not sure if maybe one of you can answer when the deadline is for that.
I'm not sure what the student is referring to as the deadline. So summer is, there are 4 different sessions throughout the summer. Each one of them has their own individual deadline for you to apply for, or for you to enroll in classes. And there's separate deadlines for you to that. It really depends on the summer session itself. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Ricky, who I think will be closing out. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Carla, and thank you to our wonderful panel of these student experts, Brianna, Carla, Isidra, and Jason. Thank you so much for joining us. Also to all of our attendees. This has been a really excellent program that we've offered, and you guys have provided a lot of really valuable firsthand experience to our incoming students. So thank you so much for participating with us. And as I mentioned earlier, or through Carla, the website where you guys can find the recording is admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. So again, it's admitted.ucmerced.edu/webinars. We've had quite a full month in April where we've had at least 1 to 2 webinars per day for the entire month. So in addition to Virtual Bobcat Day this past Saturday. So I definitely recommend that everyone go there, check out what we've had in the past. We have a lot of recordings up. Everything from Bobcat Day on Saturday will also be available shortly, probably by tomorrow or Friday. And that would be available on bobcatday.ucmerced.edu. So at this point, I would like to just thank everyone for joining us, and on behalf of the University of California, Merced, and all of the great panelists with us tonight, have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for joining us.